Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Brian Rocha. I'm an artist for It's Fine Games, and today I'm gonna show you some hand paint and textures with Substance Painter. So first of all, I'm gonna just show you how to create a new scene. So you just select the FBX or OBJ that you want. Greek island. You can add some map if you have some. For this one, I don't have any. So here's my mesh. So I just use the same shader for the whole entire object, so I'm sure I can have the entire object in my scene at the same time. Otherwise you can actually use different shader in Maya to be able to mask it pretty much, because you can choose here different kind of for example, if I had one shader for this, I could have selected just that one just to be able to paint this one. So it's a little bit more it can be easier sometimes, so you have just different object. The problem with this, I might be wrong because they're just doing updates all the time, but for now on, as far as I know, you can't, if you have different shader, you can't show all of them at the same time, which will be a problem for my scene, because that's one object in my game. The player will be able to fly around and collect some orbs, so I just want to make sure that I can see my entire scene, so I can paint some relevant texture, or some texture which will fit for my for every object I have. Anyway, so basically what I'm doing is create, when I start, you can delete that one doesn't, it's nothing. So when I start a new scene, I like to create folders and create a mask on each folder for each piece I have in my scene. So for example, I'm gonna say okay, this is my folder for my rocks. So I just call it rocks. I add a new fill layer in my folder, and then the one I love to work with, that's the uniform white, and not the glossy one. So I believe it's that one, because that one's, yeah. Actually the glossy one doesn't change anything, because when I'm doing really low poly texture like this one, I'm just at the beginning just unselect all of this. So I just select a stupid color that I see, I can see in the scene what's going on, because after, when you're gonna have different folder, if you have a white texture, you won't be able to tell if the rocks are inside the mask or not. You will see that's gonna become more easy now. So I just right click on this and add a black mask. So nothing is selected into this now. And now I'm gonna just press 4 on my keyboard, or just select here this guy. And now I'm able to select with the white here. White is select, black is unselect. So with the white, I'm able now to select what I want inside this mask. So I'm gonna just select my rocks. So yeah, something that can be really annoying, you will see when you select this, you have a drag and drop stuff, and you can't really just select one. So sometimes it can be annoying, because you can select some object behind that you don't want. So you can basically sometimes what I'm doing is just this, and then I'm gonna just deselect the main. So that's just a little bit of workflow, just to be more a little bit faster. So now that I have every rocks in my group, not all of them, I'm missing this. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about with this really annoying. I don't know why they haven't changed that yet. That's pretty stupid. So I'm gonna just select 2 of them and just go like this. That's way faster. Okay, so now I have my rock. I'm gonna jump into my scene, because actually I've done this already to avoid this boring process. So I'm gonna just open the scene that I already set for you guys. So in this scene, I've done pretty much the same. I have one color for my ruins and temple, one for the rocks, flying mountain, which will be like the whole thing. I have my grass inside. That's something that usually I don't really like, but in this example, that's because after I want to be able to like with this mask, I can like basically delete this mask and say I can draw on the edge here and be able to paint on this guy and this guy just at the end, just to fade them a little bit better. So that's why I have like both of them are the same, and then after later on I'm gonna just delete this mask, and so I will be able just to like draw a little bit on the edge just to make like a little bit more smooth. Anyway, so that's the process I just showed you. Now I started to work a little bit on the rocks already. So the way I'm doing this, I press 1, so that's your keyboard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, blah blah. I'm gonna just quickly go like to the cool shortcut to know. So on the keyboard you change 1, 2, 3, 4 for these options. Actually then like that's it. You have so Alt and right click to go like this, and Alt and middle mouse you go like around. If you Alt and you go like this, leave it like in Maya, and Shift right click, that's to turn like the luminosity and the background, which is really useful when you want to have like light or no on your mesh. And also if you hold Shift, so you press and then you hold Shift, you can draw lines like this, which is really useful, and that's a new stuff they just added like a couple months ago, so I'm pretty happy with this. So yeah, for the shortcut after I'm gonna just go through the shortcut while I'm working. So the way I'm working usually, I start with the dark. So I'm gonna just describe for this kind of art style. I know like that's not the best art style. I'm not like the best texture painter or whatever. I'm just like yeah, just like getting better and better slightly in Substance Painter. I prefer Substance Painter than Photoshop because that's way faster for me, even though I'm doing some like really like low poly model and this kind of stuff. And then you can use Substance Painter to do really complex textures. But yeah, I will do some video about that later on because I have a character to model. So I'm gonna like do some video about that. But now we're gonna be focused on this kind of art style. So I just start with dark. So basically what I've done, I just like went here and just go like pen pressure. Here I just deselect, so that's your color, your height, roughness and metallic. So I don't want any of these for the moment, so I'm just go and for the color I usually pick the one I'm like using. So for the rocks I'm using kind of blue. I don't like to use just gray, so to make it more interesting I always like add some more like stuff. So I'm gonna just like pick a darker blue. And then I just go like a little bit like on the bottom of the rocks, and I just had like some dark stuff. So I'm not gonna do the rocks, I'm gonna start with like for example this stuff, or maybe the flying mountain, because I've done pretty much this. So after I do the same but with the light, and then I go like through the edges. And so I have like a little bit of this kind of style for the rocks, which is between a little bit of cartoony or like, I don't know how I can like describe this, but anyway. And then you can adjust like the intensity if you don't want to be like that sharp. But they're not finished yet. I'm gonna go like a little bit more in detail later. But I like to go through my entire scene and then go layer by layer, like don't go crazy in details straight away, just like go a little bit of details everywhere and then add some and that on. So that's more, yeah, it's more easy to tell when you're done or not, because you can do this process forever, I guess. Tick tick tick. So I'm gonna do the mountain. So I'm gonna add my layer here. I'm just thinking, because for this grass stuff, but the problem is now I'm gonna just add a folder inside my folder in which that's gonna be a black mask, and I'm gonna just select this. So I can see here that select just faces because I was in face and not the whole UV island. So now I have my whole UV island. So I'm happy with this. So that's the layer I just created. This one is the layer to draw on it. So I'm gonna just call it dark. And same process, I pick the color and then I pick like a dark color that I like. I already have this one selected. And I don't go really crazy and fancy when I'm doing this kind of stuff, like changing my alphas, using like stencil and stuff, and that's all like a bunch of options you can paint with particles and stuff and generators and everything. So for this video I won't show this kind of stuff. That's more a video for beginners, I guess, and also for like just to show a little bit of hand painted textures. So the way I'm doing this, I go like really rough at the beginning. That's just to create myself some shadows inside the rocks. So I'm gonna just be able to create some so shift right click to move the light. Yeah, just to create myself some relief, if I can say this. I don't know if it's an English word. Yeah, some like more details and stuff. Oops. So yeah, another thing is I love to switch between 1 and 2, between my eraser and my brush. So when I go a little bit too crazy, I just go like this and I just erase a little bit. I have something here. Okay, that's not my UV. What is that? Okay, that's weird. It might be like an edge issues in Maya, because I deleted some. I did some extract stuff and then delete, and I think I haven't merged this vertex here, so that's why going a little bit like this, but that's fine. That's fine for the design we're going for. We're gonna just use this actually in our texture just to make it look cool. So I just go roughly like this, up, some parts a little bit too dark, but I want some part to be a little bit darker. Okay, so now I have my first like dark base, so I add a new one and I'm gonna go light, and then I do the opposite. I go lighter, I reduce the brush a little bit by using the square, that's like in Photoshop, I don't even know the name of this in English, that's square brackets, I reckon. And now where I have some light, I'm gonna just like make it a little bit stronger. That's why I'm using like a smaller brush. That's weird because it seems that I have some glossiness going on here. I don't know why I have some roughness on this. So with C you can jump from roughness, metallic, base color, and then by pressing M you go back all together. So I have some like roughness on this and I wanna like see where does it come from? So that might be this one, roughness. Yeah. So there is two ways to fix that. We can like play with this. We can like remove the roughness here, or we can go in roughness here, and I'm gonna go like this so you can see it. And then we can change the opacity of the roughness here. So that's three ways to do it. In this case, I'm gonna just like enable roughness on this. So I go back to my light and I just go like this. And I feel like I have to press a little bit too strong, so I'm gonna just a little bit my intensity here. Not yet actually. I'm gonna just go a little bit more roughly. I want some like up. Just to make it dark, lighter a little bit. Okay. Okay, so obviously like that's like painting, you know, like if you're familiar with this kind of techniques and Photoshop texture painting, you know it looks really crap. And you have to... What's going on this? Weird. Okay, I'm gonna fix it later. I just like haven't selected the mask because I haven't like rotate, so I selected here and I'm missing some faces inside my selection. Anyway, so you know that it doesn't look that great, and you have to, you know, keep working on it, and it's gonna like looks better and better and better. Just be like patient and just go like, it's a little bit too much. Now I'm gonna like just create some interesting contrast just to have some different, a little bit smaller. And as more as I'm going like through the, I'm just using my rough, like the rough stuff that I've done before, and just like to put some edges and just to make it more interesting. So we're gonna create some like dark area and like light, in which we're gonna like, well actually usually when I do that, sorry my bad, it's something that's really important, it's fine, I'm just like losing it, it's I create a new folder, a new layer, because so I have my light stuff, and then I love to work with a lot of different layers so I can like play with the opacity after. So I'm gonna say like lighter 2. So when I increase the number, I know that's my workflow, that the highest the number is, smaller the details are. So I guess that's, everyone has to like find how he wants to work, like his workflow. And like sometimes I even use like the size as well for the problem after, like you can't really use size and opacity at the same time. So that's why I like flow. I always call opacity. I think it might even change this name maybe. So yeah, the reason why I changed, like I created a new layer, it's because after we will see like, it's a bit hard to paint because I'm recording a video, so my Substance Painter is a little bit laggy. I'm using XSplit and I might download OBS, and just you can really more like trick the settings with OBS. way more than with XSplit when you don't have license and you're just using like the open source. Okay. Yeah, it's annoying because I wanna like follow an edge, and it's really hard to follow the edge that I want with what's my size. I'm gonna reduce it, that might help, just to be a little bit lighter in memory. That looks a little bit more shitty. You can always change here the settings and go back after to 2K, because I know this texture at the end is gonna be 2K. I don't have to work straight away in 2K. When it's not laggy, like I don't see why I should work in 1K and then like having some surprise when I change to 2K. But if it's a little bit laggy, you can always like cut it down. And like when I go through this process, I'm like separating the shadows that I have, and then I'm gonna go through a black layer again underneath that one, just between the two of them, so I would be able to like so we can see that's already getting a little bit more in shape. I don't really know for the moment how I want to approach the bottom here, so for the moment I'm just doing some approximative painting. Okay, so now I'm gonna go through a new layer of black underneath that one, so dark 2. And up, I'm gonna be even like this. Okay, and now just close this guy. I'm gonna like just to make it a little bit stronger. Now I see like an interesting shape here, so I'm gonna just use it and try to create like a path, like a little bit of crack. So when I see this, maybe too dark for me here. When I see this, sometimes I just work on it straight away. So I'm gonna make even darker here. And then I'm gonna just like start to create some stories inside my rocks. Let's see, like there's like a huge crack here. And so now I'm gonna just paint like the light. So now I can say like, oh, okay, I want to go back with my white just to make it a little bit more obvious what's going on here. So I just go light, up, pick my light, and now I want to be really white. And then I start to go on the edge and just say like, here's like an important edge. Still a little bit of the lag of the computer. It's not too bad at the moment. And just create some like, I could have created also a new layer for this, because now the problem, like, you know, like I don't really like here what I've done here. So if I delete, I'm gonna delete actually the same, the one I drew underneath. Gonna just look at the more distance. Okay, that's not too bad, but it looks a little bit flat, even though I'm painting like the light. So I'm not really happy with this. So I'm gonna draw some normals now and say like, hey, this is like a huge crack. So that's gonna be a little bit less off. So 8, I just select 8 and I go negative. And now I'm just gonna say like, here's the cracks. So you won't really be able to see like don't really see, like I can't have the result that I want. Okay, see, like I was deleting and I was deleting the color, so I wanna go make sure that I'm in 8. And so I can delete just the 8 here, which for some reason that doesn't work. Okay, that's really weird, because it seems like that's drawing some... Oh yeah, usually I go like this and I go bump, and I'm drawing the bump. Like I made like a huge mistake here, so I'm gonna just go like this, up, bump. And sometimes I remove pen pressure for this, so I know like all of my, here we go. So that's more linear. While someone is trying to call me. Okay, just a sec. Okay, we are back. Sorry, I just received a call. So we were doing some like bump to make this stuff a little bit more interesting. So I'm gonna just continue here. And then that's pretty like weird here, but it doesn't really matter, because then I'm gonna just go like here and just like slightly erase the bump. Up. Same here, I can just go on the edges and just like up. Same here. So usually I don't go like in this in-depth in this kind of details that soon, but that's just to show you a little bit of like what you can do. Okay, so just to make it more like, yeah, looks a little bit less off. Yeah, so I have like this stuff going on to my rock, so I think that's start to be pretty cool here. So I go back in my dark to up, and I'm going back here. So I love to, okay, I have to switch back in pen pressure. Close to the edges, that's where you're gonna have less light. So that's where you need to apply some like darker area, and that's how your texture is gonna looks cool at the end and right, and it's gonna feel right if you have some more dark stuff. So it's the darker that you're gonna put, the more deep, or like the more intense the descent's gonna be. That's pretty obvious what I'm saying, but you know, I'm just like trying to do like a small tutorial or explain my workflow, basically, like how I work, depending on the accents, even though my French accent's pretty terrible, because now I live in New Zealand and they say like work, a little bit more like work than walk or whatever. Get confused sometimes. So here I'm gonna I kind of want a hill but not really deep, so I'm gonna reduce to help me limit the opacity and just go a little bit darker here, but not as straight as here. So just create some surface like this. Hop. Same here, let's leave it too dark. So we just go a little bit like this. And even inside my lightest area, a little bit create some depth. So that's really how I love to work, is just starting really rough and then go slightly building and really telling some stories. My bump is definitely too high. Make sure you save your work. Okay. And that's something really relaxing as well, you just create your shadows, your light, and that's a pretty cool process, I think. As more as you draw, you just discover some new. So something I would like to have, that's in Photoshop, when you just hit X and it just change between two colors, because now I'm using different layer anyway, so that won't be really it's not really a gain of time anyway, but just a little bit. Oops, a bit too dark here. So I go a little bit more in depth and a little bit more slow. I'm gonna create a little bit here. Up. Nice. Oops. Last one, I don't like it. So I try to don't use Ctrl Z a lot. It's a lose of time using Ctrl Z. Loss of time, I don't even know how to say that. Waste of time. It's kind of hard sometimes, when I'm focused on what I'm doing and then speak another language. I might do some in French as well, if a lot of people, not a lot, but if some people are interested to have something in French, I can also do some tutorials in French. So here I'm gonna have this ice or stalactic, or I don't know yet how I'm gonna do this, but what I know for sure that I will need some shadows behind and around this stuff. So I'm just gonna create this. I think I texture one of these already. It's kind of alpine with snow. So this stuff, they are ice and with emissive, crystals, crystal ice. So I don't know if I'm gonna fit with the same art style or if I'm gonna go for something different here. I don't really know yet. We'll see. We'll see how it looks. Okay, here we definitely need a little bit more of stories. This piece as well, it's a bit too broad in here. And make sure as well you don't go crazy with details everywhere. Keep in mind that your eyes need some rest when you look to a model or a texture. So if you go like really crazy everywhere, it won't look cool at the end. Like you really need, you know, like this kind of intense depth and stuff, and next to it like an area where like you don't even like work on it, you just leave it like this. That's make this area even more like cooler, because if you have like too much details everywhere, that's definitely not gonna look cool. A bit more shadows here as well because of these guys. Hop, switch the light, shift right click. Obviously I'm using a tablet to do that, I haven't mentioned that yet. That's way like easier to use a tablet. So it starts to look like pretty wacky. Okay, so I have this detail here. So now I have like something really detailed here, and then like I need like a rappel. I need something like, if I go really crazy in detail, I love to go back with gradient. Like don't go detail and then straight away like really like no details and no. Oh, I was drawing on the bump stuff. That happens. I don't know if you can like merge them already. No, I haven't really followed I'm gonna just call dark 3 the updates lately, so I don't know like if they're gonna do like a merge tool for the layers or something like that. Maybe they might. Okay, so I'm gonna just use a little bit of, maybe more in detail next to this. Up, little hole here. And also something I realized, that's cool to go like sometimes really dark and like do some really contrasting stuff. Like too often I'm like too shy with my like painting. I'm going like really like, and I don't really want to put colors and stuff, and finally at the end it looks alright, but you know, like it's not like, oh yeah, nice. There's something missing. And yeah, I realize sometimes when I just go like a little bit more more crazy with contrasts, looks always a little bit better at the end. Okay, and now this one I'm gonna like put it down just to have like my kind of gradient I was talking about. Yeah, just to have like a gradient here. Okay, cool. So this part is definitely like not detailed enough, but for this video I will like texture a little bit more in this kind of style, a little bit more on the back, but I'm gonna go like work on something else now, just to don't put you like, actually I might do like a little bit more of this and then create a new video, start a new video to work on something else. So like if you wanna see more of this rock, you can stay on this video, otherwise you can just move on to the next one, in which I'm gonna like draw maybe the Colosseum, the little temple. Actually I might do the crystal. I'm gonna do like the crystal to the next video. So yeah, feel free like to jump straight away to the next video. I might put a link at this stage to the video to like how I'm gonna paint and do this stuff. Otherwise, if you enjoy watching this, and I think you pretty much by now, yeah, like you pretty much get it, like what I'm doing. So there's no like, I'm not gonna go like with crazy with new tools and new stuff. I might go like a little bit more and add some more whites, some more light. because now that's what I was talking about before. There's not enough like contrasting stuff. So now I have like this kind of issue here with my UV. So I'm gonna just like go light and say this is like a crack inside a rock or something. I'm gonna try to mask it with my textures. I can still like fix this part after in Maya, because then you're gonna export your textures and then you can fix your model in Maya, go back in Maya, fix, and then like apply your textures. So that's fine. That's just in the file, like Substance Painter file. You can't really you can't fix an FBX and then export it again and then use your same file with folder and everything. Actually, not yet. They might have like an update maybe, or they will have like something like that, but I think that might be pretty hard to code, so we will see. I really like when I see like veins like this and just like action, like yeah, actions. I don't know how to say that. Yeah, make it stronger or like emphasize. Okay, and same now when I'm gonna go before my final dark. You have to be careful to don't go like really crazy in details, like. So I'm pretty much done like for the style I'm going for. I wanted to add some more like dark stuff, but I think slide 3. But I might don't do that, just like contrast just some area here. Go like leave it with this page. A little bit bigger, just say like here. Yeah, just to make it a little bit more contrasting somewhere. Some places, yeah, like that, kind of like it. Here, for example, up, one work a little bit more, maybe on the bottom here, one of this. Up. And here maybe a little bit. Okay, here I don't really want to change here to make it like, it's a question for the eyes, like I was talking before. Make sure to have some place where the eyes can rest. So I don't want to add some details. Okay. So yeah, I think like we're pretty much done for this. I might go like change because depending on the art style, like maybe I went a little bit too far in details. So for the art style of our game, I might like go back. Some of the detailed stuff, make it less intense. So it was more for the tutorials, I think, that I'm doing like that kind of details. But that's really like low poly stuff, and so we're gonna have a look in 2K, because that's gonna be 2K at the end. So that's gonna change in 2K, just like see how it changed. Yeah, I think it won't change a lot. It looks pretty cool, I think, for like, it's a good start for this base. Anyway, so that's the base of our work, and now I'm gonna start a new video to texture this kind of stuff here. So see you soon.